Hey man, this is Adrian Gomez with 212 Athlete. Just looking at how you're driving your back leg. We're going to start with the back leg. So the knee stays over the ankle for quite a bit of time, but you're able to bring this front leg out and delay your hips, which is good to keep your hips closed, which is looking good. From this angle though, as you plant right here, this back heel is not rotated, and so we need to make sure that this heel pops up this way so that your hips can come through, because right now your hips should be open even further. So now what's happening is this back heel is not popping up, so then your back leg comes in. And so you'll see that if your leg's not on the ground, you're not driving with your back leg and your hip. So it's going to be increasingly important that you can get that heel up for quicker. How we're going to do that is your back leg squat. So to try to get in this, you're at about 140 degrees. I'd like to get you a little bit lower. If you could sit your hips a little bit lower down to this line, but backwards. So your butt basically needs to be behind this heel. That's going to allow you to put more force into the ground. And when you do that, you're going to have to also make sure that your heel's popping up, because you'll see right there your heel's almost on the ground, and that's what's really keeping you back from rotating your hips. So at plant leg, plant foot right here, measure this. It's at 105, which is pretty good. It means you're pretty flexible, which is good. That's not an issue right now. But let's look into the front knee. So that's not an issue. Double leg isn't an issue. When you plant though, you'll see this knee right here. You'll see how it takes a few frames for it to move and then solidify. So your knee is moving quite a bit. So it's what we call, it's internally rotated, which means that your hips are waiting for your knee to set up over your ankle in order for them to go through. So you have really two problems. Number one, the back leg and your heel rotation. That's this position of the heel right here. That's what it should look like out the gate. Like right now, this is what it should look like. The heel should pop up. Also, your knee needs to be able to be planted with the knee over the ankle and set that up a lot earlier, because your hips are waiting for it. So let's also measure. I'm going to measure your angle. So this is 125, and as you throw into it, we don't increase. So what I'd like to see happen out of your front knee is that this front knee comes back to about 140 something degrees, and that's what's going to allow you to have more leverage on the ball. So basically it's a reciprocal action. This knee comes back and then this chest goes forward. So you're going to have a greater likelihood of creating more force when this front leg sets up. So how do we do that? Well, the front leg, we have drills on our online portion for you to do with that front leg. The back leg squat, we have drills to do to fix that online as well. So let's get into the next one. The release point is pretty close to here. And out of this angle, I can't really see it, but it's somewhere around that front foot. So I'd like to get further. The further I can get, the better I'm going to be able to throw, the less stress there is on my arm, and the harder I'm going to be able to throw. So in order to get that extension further, this knee's got to come back and this chest has got to extend. So right now, if I had a side view, it'd be a little bit easier. But off of this back hip, up to here about 35 degrees, I'd like to see you at 48 degrees. So I'd like to see your chest drive a little bit further. So that chest extension, and that's one of the weaknesses, that's something that you can work on. That's about 13 degrees difference, probably just a few inches of your chest drive. But the chest drive is going to be fixed also by your front knee coming back, and then your chest is going to want to go forward a little bit more. This back leg has got to stay on the ground, and it's got to be lined up with this chest. So the chest and the legs are going to be lined. So if you can get your chest out here a little bit earlier, then my legs should be back to that rubber. So if you put your chest out a little bit further and keep this leg more force on there, so you're gonna squat better, you're gonna push off harder off the rubber, then your back leg's gonna stay straighter, and we have drills to fix that. Box drill 1 fixes it, box drill 2 as well. So release point, you can see your chest go forward right here, and then at the end your chest is here. If I had a front view, it'd be a little bit easier to see that angle, but we have a little bit of a head movement. So head's forward, and then my head's far that side. So what I'd like you to do is from here stay back a little bit further, so that you can minimize that head movement and drive that chest through. Because you can see your elbow going first and then your chest. So I want your chest to pinch and drive through earlier. Okay, so chest extension. So let's look at the front glove. Front glove, it drops down, so it kind of comes up, and it's not really pinching, it's just kind of down. So in order for me to rotate, I'm going to have to pinch this front glove this way. And keep it up. What that's going to do, so you'll notice where your arm goes, it goes down, and your shoulder blade's still not pinched. So it's going to be harder to throw around that front side if that front glove drives down. So I want to pinch earlier. Right here in this position, your glove is good. So I want to take that and I want to push it this way. Pinch it, and then that throwing side is going to come through a lot faster just because it has that leverage. You can see right here you're leaning with your elbow, and I want you to lead with your chest. And the reason why you're not leading with your chest is because your hip and your chest are connected. So if this back heel doesn't rotate, then the back hip, or the hip doesn't rotate, and the chest doesn't rotate. So it's all a pattern, and if you solve that back heel, you're going to solve the chest problem as well. You finish well across your body at the end. Boom, you finish. See how you kind of stand up out of this? I want your leg less bent. See here, 126. If this front knee came back, you wouldn't have to stand up. It would just be, you'd be stood up. You'd be right there. So let's look at, okay, elbow's a little bit low here. Okay, so if I took a snapshot of your shoulders and went down to your elbow, so your undo, about 160. So I want to be at about 180, so you're about 20 degrees off. What does that look like? I'm talking about the shoulder blade needs to pinch a little bit better back in here. So higher pinch, higher pinch. So it's a little bit lower. I'd like you to set up and pinch better out of your back arm earlier. That's going to help a lot. Just to be able to transfer all of that energy from your shoulder blade and then driving with your chest first. All of the arm care is really going to help. The up trampolines, the down trampolines are going to help that pinching, the 90-90 backward tosses, the torques, all of that is going to help. And all of that's available at 212athlete.com on the 6-week throwing program. All right, so that's pretty much it. So recapping, back leg squat, your back heel, your front knee, your front glove, your elbow not pinching, we're not staying pinched, and your chest extension. I know it seems like a lot, and I don't want you to get so worried about this. It's just going to, over time, it's going to improve. So we have about 6 things that we got to work on. That should be around 6 miles an hour that you could get within about 6 months. I think you can improve quite a bit. Just fixing these simple things, getting on the arm care, doing all the things that are suggested on there on the PDF. Thanks for being a part of 212 Athlete. I appreciate it.